Hi, this is Ken Stiles, the Pragmatic Professor, here to offer some insights and advice based on my 35 years of college teaching. Most of my videos are geared for college students. This one is not. It's geared for young faculty and maybe not so young faculty as well. This one has to do with life balance. One thing that I've seen again and again is faculty getting their lives out of whack, uh, not understanding when they need to prioritize this or that, feeling overwhelmed and out of control. And so I decided to put this together to offer some words of wisdom based on my own experience and a few other sound principles. Okay? When it comes to life balance, what we're really talking about is trying to balance your capacity on the one hand with your goals on the other. And these things are very individualized, all right? When it comes to capacity, we're talking about your energy level, for one thing, which relates to your health and fitness, may relate to your mental acuity as well, and also the time that you have available, which may relate to your family obligations or the conditions in which you live and so forth. Now, some of those things you can control, some of them you can't, all right? As far as your goals are concerned, those are individual as well. Everybody has a different trajectory that they're on, and that's okay. You can have short-term goals over the next few months, long-term goals over the next decade or so, and those are up to you to sort out. The key then is to take all of this and try to find a balance between your capacity on the one hand and your goals on the other. Be careful, as they say, not to bite off more than you can chew. On the other hand, you should probably be chewing all the time on something. Okay. Capacity is also something that you need to understand might go up and down from day to day or from week to week, right? If you get pregnant, if you experience anxiety or depression, if you're in a car accident, or contract COVID or something like that, you may find your capacity plummets. In other situations, you may find a huge burst of energy. Maybe you're running marathons. Maybe you're just very optimistic and confident for reasons you can't entirely explain. Embrace that. All right. Try to learn to be flexible and at least somewhat accommodating to these changes in your life and your capacity over time. Okay. Now, when it comes to goals, just like with planning a wedding reception or anything else, you start with the end in mind. You start with the deadline. Okay. Now, in many cases, that deadline is imposed upon you, such as the time that you have to submit your tenure file or something. But in other cases, you have control, such as the year that you decide you're going to come up for full professor or something like that. What you do, though, is once you have the deadline, you try to work backwards from there, estimating how much effort is going to be involved in accomplishing that goal. Now, ideally, you want to spread out the labor evenly over the course of the time that it's going to take you to get to your goal. Try not to procrastinate, try not to cram, try not to have too many all-nighters or this sort of thing, but try to have a steady schedule. I'm a big believer in that. If you do that, I find that much of the stress you're experiencing then will be something you can cope with. If you procrastinate, if you get distracted or disoriented, that's often when the stress becomes unmanageable, and you may need some professional help for that. So that's just some advice there. In addition, be aware that you are a human being with a lot of different elements in what makes you you. You have a soul, you have a body, you have a mind, you have a social network as well. All of these things should be important to you. And overall, you should try to balance these things. I like to think of it in terms of a square, that you try to Make sure that your mind is as sharp as can be, that your body is basically healthy, that you have some good friends, and that you're tending to the spiritual side of life as well. That doesn't mean that every individual day is necessarily going to be balanced, right? You may spend one day at a spiritual retreat and then the next day revising an article. Then the day after that, you may go to a family reunion. But over time, and not over the long term, but over the medium term at least, maybe month by month, you should try to find some time to do all of these different things to make sure that you're supporting your social, your mental, your physical, and your spiritual sides. In fact, if you do that, you'll probably find that the success you're having in one area will complement and supplement what you're trying to accomplish in another area. There's plenty of research out there on the mind-body connection, for example, that physical fitness usually helps with mental acuity. Spirituality can be a great way to cope with the stress of work, and of course, good friends and the network of support that they can provide can be absolutely essential. So try to have balance over the medium term at least, and I think you'll find that you're going to be able to accomplish more than just putting all your eggs in one basket. Okay. One last piece of advice is, as you plan your strategy for achieving your goals, be prepared for reversals. Assume that they will happen. Assume that your research project won't pan out. Okay? So have more than one. Assume that a particular journal reviewer will be cranky and decide that he doesn't like your particular project, and you'll have to move on to another one. So yes, that's 3 or 4 months wasted perhaps, but assume that's going to happen. It's very likely. Assume that you're going to get sick here and there. Just build a cushion into your schedule. Set deadlines that are maybe a month or two out from the sort of real deadline. Make sure that you have your tenure file ready 2 months before it's due, for example. Try to have all your publications in place maybe a year out, so you're not scrambling and freaking out. Okay. If you can do that, and that's a big if, but if you can do that, then when these reversals happen, as they inevitably will, you'll be able to cope much more easily and still accomplish your goals without burning out. So again, those are some thoughts based on my own experience and observations of many young faculty around the profession. This is Ken Stiles, the Pragmatic Professor, wishing you all the best. So thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful to you. Make sure to comment and like and share and watch for other videos. And of course, the views expressed are my own and not necessarily those of any institutions with which I've been affiliated over the years. Take care. Bye-bye.